Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Stamp It Up with Jaimie. I'm happy to be here with you today featuring new product from the 2019 Occasions catalog. I'm super excited, and I know this isn't usually my time that I go live, but I hope if you're able to catch me live, great, and if not, you're able to watch the replay. That works well as well. So I'm just going to check on my Facebook here to make sure I'm live. I'm a little scrambling because I normally don't go live at this time. And it's kind of like uncharted waters right now. We're going to be making 3 cards today. All basically kind of look the same and have the same feel and same style to them. Although I'm going to start with a simpler card, and each one that follows I'm going to kind of style it up a little bit, I guess. Let me just check. I want to make sure I'm live. Let's see here. If you're on, give me a shout out to make sure you can hear me. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't have my volume up very well. Hold on. Let's bump up the volume. There we go. I don't know if that helps things along a little bit. If you can help me see, not see me, hear me better. If you're catching this on YouTube, thanks for checking out my channel. Feel free to look around. If you have any questions, let me know. So this is a set that I got this past weekend while I was at Stampin' Up's On Stage, which is their conference. It was, let's see here, it was Thursday to Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. They showed us the new Occasions catalog, which is this gorgeous beauty here. So exciting. Lots of new product that you can see here. There's a ton of butterflies. Oh, hey, Amy. I almost said good evening because I'm so used to doing this. Good afternoon. Oh, during your lunch break. Oh, that's funny. Awesome. So this is kind of a sneak peek. I can't show you the inside of the catalog. I'm not allowed to, but I did want to show you the outside here. This is the Occasions catalog. It starts January 3rd, so we have a little ways to go. However, we got some free goodies over the weekend, and I got to place a pre-order, so I will be featuring some more spring and certainly things from the holiday catalog as we go forward. Hi, Michelle. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? I know this is a little odd this time of the day. This week and next week I will be doing a 1 o'clock video, and then hopefully from that out I'll be able to go back to my evening. But a little pause, and we're gonna do the afternoon. So this, again, like I said, is available January 3rd. If you have placed an order from me in the past year, I will automatically send you this catalog as soon as I can order it, which is the beginning of December. Oh, hi, Linda. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. From Virginia. Oh, I bet it's glorious weather. We were in Florida, and it was like low 80s, not much humidity. It was quite beautiful. But if you aren't a regular customer of mine and you don't yet have a demonstrator and would like a copy of the Occasions catalog, please let me know. I would be more than happy to pop one in the mail for you as well. And the Celebration one, which, oh, hold on, let me grab it. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't have that one readily available. This is the Celebration catalog here. And this is chock full. Again, I can't show you the inside, but it's chock full of free product that you can earn during Celebration, which will run January 4th to March 30 days, September, April, June, and November, 31st. I don't know how many days are in March. It says right there, March 31st. And again, there's things that you can earn with a $50 and above order. There's things that you can earn with a $100 and above order. Lots of things, just about something for everyone. So again, if you would like a copy of either of those catalogs and you're not a current customer of mine, please let me know. I'll be sending those out about early to mid-December, so to speak. Okay, so these are the cards we're going to make today. But before I get into them, I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek of the cling stamps that are coming our way. So Stampin' Up! Is revamping their stamp medium. I don't know what the official lingo is yet. It's only 41 degrees in Virginia. Wow, I thought it would have been a lot warmer. Oh, well, bundle up. Turn the heat on and bundle up. So the cling stamp is going to be replacing our current wood mount and clear mount. One of the issues with the current clear mount is that it doesn't, it's really tricky, let's word it that way, to get it stick to the block. So you need a clear block to use it. And it really is tricky to get it to stay on without it falling off. And if you've ever had it fallen off during a project, it can be very frustrating if you're trying to align something and bloop, the stamp falls off the block. So they've come up with a new medium, and they're calling it the Cling stamp. And this will start to be rolled out in the Occasions catalog on January 4th. And by the 2019-2020 annual catalog that will come out in June, there you will either have the option of a Cling stamp or a photopolymer stamp. You will no longer have the wood stamp or the clear mount stamp. However, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to open up, and you're going to see that it looks very similar to the clear mount. So let's just open this up. This was one of the new ones that we got. It's called the I think this was my Prize Patrol one. So not everyone got this, but this is one that my number got pulled for. It's called the Itty Bitty Birthdays. It's got some really, it's all about birthdays. Some super fun sentiments in there, really just fun sayings. You do have some like plain happy birthday and birthday wishes. But you know, some other like you're growing up. That's kind of fun for a kid, I think. And you're not old, you're just older. So some fun ones as well. So if we were to open it up, this is what you're going to see inside for the clear mount. I'm going to get rid of my case. And so our rubber stamps look the same as they always have. Same great product. The rubber of it is the same. And so they haven't compromised or changed the quality of the actual stamp at all. However, if you flip it over, this is where things get a little different. And I'm going to pull out this guy here. So same thing, you just poke him out, and you're going to pull the back off. So this aspect of it hasn't changed. It comes off just the same. This is the same rubber stamp as always. The difference here is the label. So I got to find my label. It's right here. And the label is super, super sticky. So once you align this over, the stamp over the label, and you put it down, that thing isn't coming up for anything in the world. So make sure you get really good positioning from the get-go, because if you were to put it a little cockeyed or like wonky on it, it's the way it is. You're not going to be able to pull it off. So what I like to do is I like to just peel half the sticker and align half at a time. You could pull both sides up. I just don't, because I find it's easier to align one half of a stamp than the whole stamp. So you're just going to pop that down. Now, when you go to pull the rubber off with the label, you have to get like your nail underneath the label, because it's super sticky. Okay, so I'm like halfway there. So then I just pull this other half off and peel it and stick it down. Now you may say, that's exactly what we do now, and you would be 100% correct. However, the difference is it's sticky. The label is sticky. So see how it's sticking to my finger? That thing is not going anywhere. So let me get a block here. If I were to put this on my block, it's not going anywhere. Yay, that's so exciting. That makes me so happy. So happy. Now, be careful. A little tip is once you put it on your block, to take it off, you're not going to want to just pull. We were told that if you were just to pull from like the red rubber part, you actually could split the sponge in there. That's how strong the sticky on the label is. So you're going to want to get your fingernail kind of underneath the label and pull it off. Again, it's super sticky. Look how sticky that is. Woo! So those are our Cling stamps. They definitely solve the issue of the clear mount, where it didn't want to stay and it would just fall off. So I'm very, very, very happy about this. That's just like music to my ears. Some people got in a habit of not even putting the labels on their stamps because it wouldn't stay. So problem solved. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. And us as demonstrators will be continuing to get more information as this goes forward, and provide you with more information. But if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so moving on, the cards that I'm making for you today use the Amazing Life stamp set. Again, this is one that will be featured in the 2019 Occasions catalog. Occasions catalog is super fun. It's full of really spring, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, basically any occasion that happens between, Valentine's Day, anything between January and May with the exception of Father's Day's in June, but there is a masculine suite in there, is included in the occasions catalog. So this one, every demonstrator received. This was the very first stamp set that we all got in our bag when we got to the conference. And it's got some really great happy birthday sentiments in there. Although I do love this. I was looking at this. There's like good luck with like a 4-leaf clover down here. I thought that was super cute. Definitely perfect for like a St. Patrick's Day if you are into that and make those kinds of cards. Some spring flowers and this beautiful "So Happy to Have You in My Life." Really big, chunky font that is fun. You know, it takes up a big space on your card. So it kind of does all the work for you. So let me show you my cards today. My first one that we're going to do is this one here. So many times when we start off stamping and crafting as a hobby, it can be very overwhelming. There's lots of product in our catalogs. And although Stampin' Up! Does try to keep it fairly simple for us by putting things in suites with coordinating colors and patterns and whatnot, it can feel very overwhelming. So when you are starting off crafting, I would highly recommend just starting off with paper and ink. And that's all that this is here. So I have some balmy blue cardstock and some pattern paper, just the balmy blue ink pad, and this one here, the cake that I fussy cut out, which honestly, if you're just starting out, you get a super sharp pair of scissors and it really does the job for you. You don't need framelits or punches or anything like that. Another good thing about a simple card such as this is it's monochromatic. So again, Stampin' Up! Makes it super easy for you to coordinate colors. If I'm buying balmy blue ink, I know for sure that it's going to match perfectly the balmy blue cardstock. This is what made me fall in love with Stampin' Up! Like 4 years ago or so, is that I would go to like the big box stores and I'm standing there with like a yellow and I'm trying to match it perfectly with another yellow and they just don't match. And that was so frustrating to me because it just made my card look messy to me. Hi, Teresa. Oh, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. So what's great about Stampin' Up! Is that everything coordinates. If they call it balmy blue, it's balmy blue. So again, when you're just starting out as a beginner, don't be overwhelmed. Just buy like a favorite color cardstock, matching, coordinating ink pad, and maybe a fun stamp that draws your attention, and keep it super simple. No need to overcomplicate things. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Oh, I didn't get my ink pad. Switch it over here. Sorry about that. So all I did is I stamped, I'm again using balmy blue and just plain Whisper White. This Whisper White is cut at 3 and, wait, am I going to get that right? Yeah, 3 3/4 by 5. I second guessed myself there for a second. And I'm just going to take again that happy birthday, which is this guy right here from the Amazing Life stamp set right there. And I'm going to stamp him multiple times across my page. Now, the good thing is this is a photopolymer stamp set, so I can see right through my stamp and I can more or less line it up. As you can see, sometimes I kind of goofed along the way, but you know, it's a handmade card and people appreciate just the effort and time that goes into creating a card. You know, when you're hand crafting a card, making a card from scratch, keep in mind that it's artistic, it's artsy. So, you know, everything doesn't have to be perfectly perfect, and it's okay if your lines don't perfectly match up. People nowadays, I really believe, just appreciate getting a nice card. And not only did you take the time to put it in the mail and go out and buy a stamp, which is like pretty much unheard of right nowadays, but you actually made it. And people really, really do appreciate that. Oh, thanks, Linda. You're sweet. Hi, Evanel. I can't believe you guys are on this afternoon. I thought for sure everyone was going to not get my message in time. I took on a seasonal job at a local department store, so they put me on schedule tonight. So I wouldn't be able to make it tonight. So I figured, hey, I'll jump on at 1 o'clock and see who's around and who can join me. So I'm glad to have you here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, before we glue that down, let's not glue that down quite yet. This is a new cardstock. This is the Gingham Gala. Do you say Gala or Gala? We were talking about this at the conference because it can really go either way. It comes in Daffodil Delight, Highland Heather, Grapefruit Grove, Lemon Lime Twist, and Balmy Blue. And there's a ton. There's 8 sheets of each color, and they have like a bigger, wider gingham on one side, and then if you flip it over, you get more of a tighter gingham on the other side. So this is definitely a great way to get a good bang for your buck, so to speak. And you're going to notice in the first 2 cards I created, I only cut them down into 1-inch strips, because if you're starting off as a crafter, you know, you're not buying tons of cardstock, tons of paper, and it's always a good idea to kind of stretch it and make it go a long way. And a great way to do that is to just use a little piece of cardstock or DSP, Designer Series paper, as opposed to a bigger chunk of cardstock. So that's 1 by 5.5. And then we're going to adhere over it just the Whisper White that I stamped just now. Again, really simple, just paper, ink, different, and keeping it monochromatic. This is a 1-inch banner of Balmy Blue that I'm going to just cut into a banner, because I'm obsessed with banners. Banners, matting, Stampin' Dimensionals, those are kind of my go-to. Especially starting out, I did a lot of banners. I still do a lot of banners because they really make a card super special. And if you want, although it will kind of get squished in the envelope, but you can kind of fan the end of it a little bit. Hopefully it kind of arrives that way. And ahead of time, I stamped and fussy cut out this, where is it? The little, oh, hi, Jaimie. This cake here. Again, no punch needed, no framelit needed. Just get a super sharp pair of scissors, like our paper snips that Stampin' Up sells. They're really nice for getting on those tight corners. And it's nothing too super complicated, just some rounded edges. So definitely easy for a beginner. And if I can find where I put my dimensionals, hold on. There we go. Just Stampin' Dimensionals, again, is an easy way as a beginner to make a little bit more wow to your card, because it does add a little bit 3-dimensional. Hi, Virginia. How are you doing today? And bam. So again, super easy. That took all of a few minutes. Of course, I did cut the cake out ahead of time, but that would have added another minute or two, nothing too major. So a simple way to pull a nice card together. Anybody that gets this in the mail would be like, wow, for my birthday, first of all, the fact that you remembered alone would speak volumes. And then the fact that you went into, you know, you took it upon yourself to make a card and pop it in the mail really would speak volumes to someone. So to make this, you don't need a huge investment. A lot of times people are like, card making, paper crafting, that's such a big investment into product. I don't want to do that. But really, this is really inexpensive. A stamp set, stamp pad, and a few papers, and you're done. Super simple. Now, if you wanted to step it up just a little bit, let's put this one aside. I came up with something like this. Oh, good. So if you've been stamping for a little while, you kind of have this a little bit under your belt, you feel more comfortable, you may consider investing a few more products, such as a punch. So if you were to invest in a framelit, obviously you would need a big shot, which is a bigger investment, and you may be a little shy to do so. So if you're just kind of getting your feet wet, I would definitely highly suggest getting a punch. A punch is really manageable. It's easy for you to use. And it really doesn't require any skill. Not that I'm saying, you know, I'm not applying anything. I'm just saying anyone can use a punch. If you were to also step up in this card, I did some white embossing, which embossing really, again, is a very simple technique that, you know, stamper that's been doing it for a little while could easily do and replicate. And again, it has a little bit, just a tad more of that wow factor. So let's just go ahead and dive into this one. Let's see. So again, I have Balmy Blue background. I also decided that this one would be a little bit more of a wow if I were to bring in a second color. So I'm using the Highland Heather. So again, our first card was monochromatic. It was all Balmy Blue. And this one I'm bringing in the Highland Heather, which I realized I forgot tonight. I didn't cut enough of it. I'll have to cut one when I'm done. What did I do with my ink pad? Hold on. Sorry. I got like 100 things all around me trying to find everything. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to take my happy birthday sentiment here and stamp it across. If you are trying to get more than one happy birthday into a line, I suggest working right to left. Or you'd have to, I don't know, figure that out, how you're going to do that. It's easier if you work right to left and kind of stagger them. Oops. I got a little bit there. stagger them, and you could do it straight all the way down. However, if you do stagger them, it's a little bit more forgiving, depending on how precise you're looking to get, is how kind of the look that you would want to be going for. So that's that. Let me just close that up so it doesn't dry out while we're working. And because I did pull in another color, instead of the Balmy Blue gingham, I am going to use the Highland Heather. So that's the first thing I need to glue down here. If I can find there it is. Again, one side has a wider gingham, which is nice. And then the back side has like this tighter gingham. So this is a great one to have. Great paper. And all occasion. That's nice about this. It's not like birthday cakes and balloons, you know, it's patterned paper that you can really make fit any occasion that you need it to. Oh, thanks, Linda. So another trick when deciding like what colors to use is to look at what colors are in a given designer series paper packet. These are colors that Stampin' Up! Kind of has designated and seeing that they do go together. So flip over your designer series packets and just look at the different colors that they put together. They're the experts after all. And you can definitely go ahead and mimic that. So these were the Highland Heather and the Balmy Blue are both in that pack of paper. And honestly, that's why I chose Highland Heather. I was kind of like, what color do I use? I wasn't quite sure. So I just kind of followed their lead when it came to that. So next I'm going to use that 2-inch punch that I had out here and my Highland Heather paper and just cut out a circle. Easy peasy. And I'm going to heat emboss on that, just the the cake there. And I'm going to use my heat buddy here, my embossing buddy. Okay, so a trick that I do with this is I usually wipe it on my hand first. And I don't know, I don't know how I discovered it, but if you were to go straight to the paper, sometimes there's a lot of powder in the embossing buddy and it will actually kind of discolor your paper a little bit. So I try and wipe it on my hand or another scrap piece of paper ahead of time, just so it's not leaving splotches of powder on whatever cardstock I'm using. So I'm using that cake and I'm gonna ink it up in our Versamark ink and stamp it down like so. Cover that up. Versamark stays nice and wet longer for us. It really buys us time to be able to sprinkle it with the embossing powder that we are going to be using. And in this case, I'm using white. There does come in a number of colors. Be generous. You can always tap off any excess, like so. And then, where is it? Oy. Oh boy, hold on. Sorry about that. The cord got caught. And then you're just going to heat it with your heat tool. Be careful of your fingers. It will burn, and it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot to burn your fingers. And you know it's done when it isn't powder anymore and it becomes glossy and shiny. So just heat and kind of hold it up to the light and you'll be able to see if it's done or not, which that is. And then give it a second to dry. Another thing that you might consider doing, stepping up from one card to another, is adding some embellishments. So in this case, I have a piece of the polka dot ribbon. It comes in Whisper White or Very Vanilla. It's super cute, feminine. I really think it adds a nice touch to it. So I'm just gonna flip my circle around, and I kind of have it in like a V, so to speak. I don't know. That's a V. I don't know what shape that is. And I'm gonna adhere over it. And then I'm going to flip it around, add a little bit more adhesive. And I'm going to take, there it is. I couldn't find it. Some silver thread. You're going to have a hard time seeing this on the camera, but it's ever so slightly there. And what I learned this weekend is, and I thought it was brilliant because I normally don't do it this way, is to wind the silver or whatever thread you're using around your fingers, cut the end, and then kind of give it a twist in the middle, and then adhere. Oh, that's not long enough. Hold on. And adhere down. It did work in the first one I did. There we go. And adhere it down in the middle. Oops. That's still not really long enough. Hold on. I thought I did it this way. Maybe I did it with 4 fingers. wind it around, kind of give it a twist in the middle, and that's what you adhere down is the twist. There we go. Perfect. It's an ever so subtle touch. I love the different threads that we have. Again, it just adds a little nice touch to it. I'm going to take my dimensionals. Actually, I think, well, yeah, I'll probably use 2. Better to have too much than too little. And I'm going to peel those off. And I chose to have my circle hang off a little bit and trim it down. So, I don't know. Oh, I guess I wound my ribbon around a different way. Oh, dear. Okay, we're going to have to make this work. So just have your circle hang off a little bit and then give it a haircut. Trying not to cut your silver thread like I did. I guess I did it backwards. I think I must have cut the circle first and then put the thread on. But this works too. There we go. Okay, so that one's done, except I did add a few rhinestones because, quite honestly, every card could use a little bling. As you can see, I use a lot of bling. There's not a whole heck of a lot left on this. A few next to my cake here, and maybe one around the sentiment, like there, and one down here, and maybe one over here. Oops, get down like that. And that one's done. So again, if you, this is kind of beginning, and this is if you start to feel a little bit more comfortable, you've added a punch to it, a few embellishments, and just kind of styled it up a little bit more. So if we were to go one step more, oh, you know what? I didn't cut my watercolor paper. I'm going to have to cut paper. I'm sorry, guys. So this is a step up. It uses kind of like the same concepts and the same idea, but instead of stamping the happy birthday in the ink, I'm stamping it. I'm doing a white wash and stamping in Versamark and heating and sprinkling the whisper white words in there. I don't know if you can see that. I got to see if I can catch the light just right. And then I did use a big shot to stamp out this kind of curve on the bottom, and I cut out a 2-inch piece of designer series paper this time as opposed to just the 1-inch. It does make a little bit more of a pop and you see it more. And definitely if you are an avid crafter, you know, you like to craft, you have lots of product, you don't mind using a 2-inch as opposed to a 1-inch. However, I did realize I didn't cut watercolor paper. So hold on, I got to get cardstock out here. Is that big enough? Yeah. And I didn't cut a Highland Heather. Oh, gosh. Sorry, guys. We're going to take a pause here while I cut cardstock. What did I do with my turn? Okay. So the not the Whisper White, the watercolor paper is 5 by 3 3/4. And then the Highland Heather is just 1/8 bigger, so 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. There we go. Oops. So I need this somewhat cleaner than it is. And we're gonna do a I just drew a complete blank. What's that called? A water wash? No, that's not right. A wash water? No, that's not right. Whatever the term is. Oh my goodness, I just drew a complete blank. Sorry, I'm just trying to clean my block here. I got stuff all over it. Okay. So to do this, you're going to take an aqua painter and oh, hi Barbara. No problems at all. Thanks for sharing it. I appreciate it. That's okay. I'm on a very unusual hour today. So this week and next week, I'm going to be on at 1, just so you know. And if you miss it, you can always just catch the replay. I'm sure a lot of people will do this. I'm sure a lot of people are working. I get it. So to do whatever the word I'm trying to think of, whitewash? No. Water. I can't think of what the terminology is. You're just going to, I just did the one corner. So where's my card? My card is somewhere. Oh, there it is. I have stuff everywhere. You should see my desk. Okay, so I just did the one corner. So wherever you are looking to color, that's the only spot that you need to get wet. So in this case, it's just kind of like the middle to the left. And to get the water down in your aqua painter, you're just going to squeeze the plastic kind of tube and kind of get the water. Watercolor wash. There we go. Thank you, Amy. I'm like, there is a term. There's a word. I know it is. And I just drew a complete blank. And I did do it in Balmy Blue. So I'm just going to kind of push the top and the bottom together. And this gets ink right there for me. And that's the ink I'm going to pull. So while this is nice and wet, and it is, I think, I'm going to pick up color and kind of just drop it down. Oh, it's not very... If I want more, there we go. I'm just going to push the water down. I really want it, come on, nice and wet. And I'm going to grab more. And depending on how light and dark you want it is how much color and ink you put down. If you want kind of a pastel, more muted look, then just don't put a lot of color. And if you want more, what you can do is put it down, put the ink down, and then dry it. And then just re-wet it and do another layer. That also, I like that look a lot too, because you get kind of like these water lines and it's a really nice look. Oh, wow, that's really hard for you to see, but it's there. It's pretty muted, but it's there. And then to clean your aqua painter, you just get a scrap piece of paper and keep brushing it until it goes clear. And when it goes clear, your brush is clean. Now, I could just sit here and wait for that to dry, but I'm not going to. For the sake of time, I'm just going to heat it with my heat tool here until it's nice and dry. Again, until it goes kind of a matte and isn't shiny anymore, I know it's dry. Yep, that looks about right. Okay, so... now this is a little bit of a tricky part because I'm going to stamp the happy birthday over the Balmy Blue here. However, I'm going to be stamping it in the Versamark. So I'm not going to really be able to see like where I'm going. I kind of have to stamp and hope for the best. Hope they kind of don't overlap. However, if you were to look closely at this one, some of my happy and birthday did overlap a little bit, but because I do have these embellishments and kind of decorations over it, you really can't tell. So don't overthink it. Just kind of stamp and go with your gut. That would be my suggestion. So thank goodness for the Versamark, because again, it does stay pretty wet for us longer and buys us time before we sprinkle it with the embossing powder. And I can see it a little bit, just not too much. It's definitely not like I'm inking it up with the blue or purple or anything. It is kind of a guessing game. But like I said, this is a very, it is more artistic. So, we use that term to help us when we make mistakes. We just call it artistic, and everybody agrees. So, let's see. I'm going to sprinkle it with the Whisper White here. Oops, come on. Again, generously, because you can always tap off the excess. There we go. Or flick the back. That works too. Okay, perfect. Actually, over there I overlapped. I was going to say, actually, I did pretty well, but I did overlap in the one spot there. And just grab your heat tool again and heat it up. When it goes nice and shiny, you're done. And if you are, an avid crafter and you do this a lot, you are very familiar with heat embossing. It's one of those techniques that never gets old, and it definitely has that wow factor. If you've ever been with anyone that heat embosses for the first time, they're usually really blown away and impressed, and it's really fun to teach this technique to beginners, because they're usually like, wow, how did you do that? Is usually how that sounds. Sorry, I'm just cooling off my paper. It's quite warm still. Is that it? Yes. Okay. Let me grab my thing here. We're going to adhere. And actually, when I do heat emboss or just dry emboss any paper, I do like to be generous with my adhesive, because it does tend to warp the paper and make it curl. So normally I just use a little bit in the corners. However, when I heat or dry emboss, I do try and be generous with the adhesive, because I want it to stay put where I want it to go. Okay. And for this one, like I said, I did cut the 2-inch gingham paper as opposed to just the 1-inch. If you are an avid crafter and you do this a lot, you have lots of paper on your hands, so be generous with it. You know, you don't want it to build up because then it gets overwhelming. You definitely want to use it up and bless other people with your design. So be generous. That's going to go over the top of that. Okay. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to work on, oh, I should have done the happy birthday too. Oh, well. Next we're going to work on the, what's that called? That. The, not cupcake, the cake. The cake. Sorry, I'm looking for a piece of Whisper White. I didn't get it out. We'll use this. And I need a blender pen. Did I leave one out? This uses, yeah, there we go. It uses so many supplies, I didn't grab everything I needed. So I'm going to stamp my cake in the Highland Heather, because again, now I'm bringing in 2 different colors as opposed to the one. And I'm going to blend with a blender pen. Now, usually when you use a blender pen, I wouldn't recommend using it on Whisper White. I would definitely recommend the watercolor paper. However, I'm not looking for too much of a color on my cake, just kind of a hint. And I'm definitely trying to be gentle without ripping up and tearing up the paper. And all I'm really doing is just kind of coloring the edges and letting the inside, the middle part, kind of be a highlight. So again, just be gentle because the paper is going to want to tear and kind of rip apart on you. Okay, like so. And you can see why this card is more for your crafter that's been doing this a while, because there's definitely more components to it. It is a little bit more time consuming. Remember that first card that we did came together so quickly, and this one definitely is taking a little bit more time. So that's done. And let's see if I can quickly cut this out. I probably should have had it cut and done already for you guys, but I guess I'll show you how quickly it is to cut out. I would highly recommend our paper snips for any fussy cutting. I really think because they are a small scissor, it does afford you to get into the tight spaces a little easier, as opposed to a big pair of scissors where it's kind of harder to maneuver, you know, in the tight spaces here. And you're going to notice that my cake on the card that I made looks a little different and is a little longer, and that's because we're going to do a little magic here. Okay, so I do have to, I forgot I have to stamp the, I guess I should have done that before, but I totally forgot I have to stamp the happy birthday. I apologize. I should have done that sooner. Oh, I keep forgetting a lot of things today. I'm all off when I do it at this hour, I guess. I'm so used to my 7:30. Okay, let me just quickly heat emboss this. The sentiment. I need a happy birthday. And then I'm going to sprinkle it. We're using a lot of white paper. I mean, white embossing powder. You could use a silver, would look pretty with this, especially since we're using silver thread. Would look really pretty. But the white really does pop against, oops, as I drop it in pad. The white really does pop. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to heat this quickly. Come on. There we go. Oh, it never gets old. I heat it emboss so much, but it is probably the coolest thing that I like to do. Okay. And I do want a straight edge, so I am going to use my paper cutter, because I can fussy cut well, but I can't cut a straight line for anything. Okay. So let me trim the edge. Oh, and I guess I went longer with that one. So no 2 cards are ever perfectly the same, that's for sure. So in order to elongate my cake there, as you can see, this is longer. I'm going to give him a little bit of a haircut. Kind of, not halfway, about 3/4 of the way in the cake. And I'm going to put down adhesive all over that one side. And I'm going to just put my cake behind. So it looks like it's connected, but really it's a lot shorter than I'm leading on. See how I did that? Very fun. And I also did use this fun curve thinlet from the Seasonal Layers Thinlits dies. Again, when you have been doing this a number of years, you have framelits and that sort of thing on hand. So you will have a big shot and different things that you can pull from to really style up your card all the more. And I'm going to just put some adhesive here. I definitely cut that one bigger than this one, but that's okay. It's just going to have a shorter look. Oh, I'm going hoarse. I guess I'm not used to talking for this long. So obviously I cut it too long, but I'm just going to take my paper snips and give it a haircut. Like so. Ta-da! And like I did in the second card, I am going to adhere behind it some of that beautiful polka dotted tulle ribbon. And just cut in a V. I lay it down, put some adhesive on the back of my cardstock, and just kind of pick it up. Ooh, I think I cut that way long. Maybe I'll give that a little bit of a haircut. A trim like that. And for another extra bling, and again to tie in that silver, because I have that silver foil, which is what I cut the loop out in, I'm going to use some more thread, which you probably can't see on camera because it's so itty bitty, but it's there. And when I took pictures of it, it'll be on my blog eventually, and you can actually kind of probably see it better there. And this is definitely an artistic touch, so don't overthink it. Just kind of wind it. The thread is going to do what it wants to do, so just kind of let it twist and go how it wants, and try not to overthink it. That's my best rule I can say about this thread. Don't overthink it. Like that. Hey Trudy, how are you doing this afternoon? I hope everyone's well. The sun is out here in Albany, New York. Yesterday was so gloomy. It was like kind of raining, kind of snowing, and cold. And today the sun is out. It's a glorious day. So we got to celebrate it, right? When we can get it. I'm just plopping some Stampin' Dimensionals behind it. And I'm going to tear that down. Now, again, this is product. Most of this product is going to be from the 2019 Occasions catalog. It's not available yet. Demonstrators will be able to order it completely pretty soon. However, customers will be able to order it from January 4th. And if you would like a copy of the catalog, please let me know. I'd be happy to get one in the mail for you. You can always see it online like January 4th, but there's nothing like flipping through an actual catalog. I think it just adds, I don't know, makes it more real. You can see the colors more vibrantly. I don't know what it is, but there's something about an actual real catalog in your hands. I think I want one more here, maybe. How about there? Ta-da! Okay, so we're done. Three different catalogs, not catalogs, cards. 3 different cards, and each one a little bit more stepped up. I would call it like a bronze, a silver, and a gold kind of card. Depending on where you feel more comfortable stamping is where I would suggest for you the product for you to buy. If you're just starting off, some simple, keep a card monochromatic, simple one stamp, a little fussy cutting, and paper. One color of paper and a little bit of DSP, Designer Series paper. Then as you feel a little bit more comfortable and you get a little more time under your belt, you would add another color and maybe purchase a punch this time and add some fun embellishments. And then when you really feel comfortable stamping and crafting, you're going to want to buy the big shot and use some fun framelits and that sort of thing. And, do a white, whatever Amy called that, white water, no, whatever she said. That's what you're going to want to do down here. It doesn't mean that you have to start here. I wouldn't recommend jumping into this card. As you are just starting off, don't feel overwhelmed. Pick a project that you'd like to work on. If you love and you need birthday cards, then go for that. And pick a fun stamp set that you're inspired to use. And just keep it simple. Sometimes we overthink it and we think our cards have to look this way. But honestly, this is a beautiful card, and anyone that receives it will feel very blessed. So that's my suggestion for today. And these are the 3 cards that I made. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can get a hold of me by email or through any of my social media, Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And I certainly would love to get a catalog in your hands if you need one, so certainly ask. Have a great rest of your afternoon, ladies. Thank you for crafting with me today. I hope you had fun. This was certainly a pleasure for me. And I'll see you next week at 1 p.m. Take care. Bye-bye.